So here's banana slip walk. I want him to walk up to the end of this action and then have banana slip take over the animation of the armature. Here's banana slip, but of course at the end of walk I want it to start at the beginning of slip and carry on to the end. So let's clear all the actions off the scene. We have to do that in the NLA editor, so clear the actions. Select all the bones, Alt R, Alt G, Alt S, so we clear all the scale and rotation and transformation. Let's just arrange the windows a bit so we can see a bit better. Over on the left in the graph editor window, change that to the NLA editor. There happens to be a track already here, so select that. Go down into the menu, add action strip. There's banana slip walk there. So we've just taken it off as an action and put it back on as an NLA strip. So banana slip walk now exists inside the NLA. If we scrub forward, there he is walking up to the end of his cycle there. So nothing has changed until now. We can add another track to the NLA editor, come down to the menu, add track, and now the track is available. Select that, add action strip. Where's the bugger gone? It's down the bottom there. There we are. For some reason it puts the name of the old action in the search box, so just delete that. That will reveal the whole list. And here is banana slip. So let me just rearrange the animation range up to frame 127. So we can play the whole thing through. Go back to the beginning and hit play. Let's make sure we can see first, and hits play, and he walks up and then he slips. With one major problem, of course, he kind of gets to the end of the walk and teleports back to the beginning of slip and then goes arse over kite. Okay, so far so good. There's two obvious things we need to do. The first is the position of this hip bone at the end of the walk cycle. He is here. So let's select the bone, Shift S, cursor to selected. So I've marked the position of the hip bone exactly with the 3D cursor. We now know where the hip should be at the beginning of banana slip. But there's another problem here. Look at the beginning of banana slip. The legs are already wide apart in preparation for the slip. At the end of walk, the legs are closer together. Now, if you recall, when I was working in BVH, I had banana slip at frame 10 in the 3D window as my reference for cropping the walk BVH. So at frame 10 of banana slip, his legs are a little closer together. But we need to blend these two actions together. So in blend out on banana slip walk, I've just put 10 in the blend out box, which means for the last 10 frames, the influence of banana walk will go from 100 to 0. I'm now repositioning banana slip, NLA strip, GX minus 10, so it overlaps the walk action by 10 frames. And I'm changing the blend in range from 0 to 10 for banana slip. So this means the walk over the last 10 frames, the influence of it goes from 100% to 0, and for the first 10 frames of banana slip it goes from 0 to 100%. So let's reset the animation range up down to 117. We've just lost 10 frames. Hit play, and he walks along, and you can see the steps much smoother now, but of course there's still the problem with the hip. He doesn't teleport back to the beginning of the slip action. He now slides gracefully back, but it looks like crap. So we have to change that. We need to go to the end of banana walk again. So now the timeline at the end of walk is on frame 10 of banana slip. So Shift S, selection to cursor with the hip bone selected, select banana slip action with the hip exactly where it is at the end of the walk cycle. Tab to go into edit mode. Go down and change and go into the graph editor. Isolate the Y and Z location F curves. Hit home inside the graph editor window to restore the range, so we can see what's going on with both of these F curves. Inside the 3D window, we need to give it a new keyframe, I location, and there in the graph editor, there's the two new keyframes for X and Y. I'm not worried about, for Y and Z. I'm not worried about X because we're not moving on the X axis at all. Deselect the new keyframes and GY on the F curve and move, in this case, the Y action, or the Y F curve up till it's in line with the new one. Same with Z, so the Z F curve is now in line with that new datum. And back into the NLA editor, tab out of edit mode. And now when we play the combined actions together, you can see that the hip bone is exactly where it needs to be as the banana slip action takes over control of the armature. So that's a lovely smooth little action. That'll do. As far as I'm concerned, I'm done. Almost straight out of the box. There wasn't any fine tuning to do at all. That's fantastic. So in the 3D window, again, let's find the armature. Select all the bones in pose mode. Again, that's important. Control tab to go into object mode. Up there in the animation tab, bake animation. Frames 1 to 117. Only selected, that's why we select all of the bones in pose mode, assuming you want to bake to all of the bones. Visible keying, not sure what that does, but I always select it. Doesn't do any harm. Clear constraints we don't need because there are no constraints. Hit pose, OK, and that will be done. And it really is as quick as that. There's the new action baked onto the armature. You see it's got the name action down there. From frame 1 to 117, there it is there in the NLA editor. We don't need these two actions anymore, delete those. We don't need these tracks anymore. I like to clear the NLA editor as I go, otherwise it gets cluttered with crap. And boom, we're done. We've got this new, let's see, what shall I call it? We need to rename this action. Let's play it through, see what it's like. A little bit of a slip on the left foot as he launches into the slip, but never mind. Rename the action. Let's call it banana slip walk final. Works for me. It's a bit long-winded, but it'll stand out in the list so I can find it quickly again. Give it a false user so it doesn't disappear out of the system. And we're done. So next lesson I want to just keyframe the animation of the toes. I want to relax the pose of the hands. I'll have a look at the head. And of course the bleeding obvious. We've got to do something with the jacket and the tie. So that's next episode.